Hi, my name is Clair Sullivan. I am presently running my own company doing consulting, coding, and education in the Gen AI space. My work at NEO and prior to that was in both graphs and natural language processing. And so this was things like ChatGPT going GA. And when that happened, these are all the mathematical bases for what is LLM work today. So I work with a lot of people who are looking for traditional graph work, but also they're looking for LLM work and how those two things come together. So, for example, I've recently taught a course on LinkedIn Learning about GraphRAG so graphs, LLMs, answering questions, making for better RAG over vector-based approaches. I do a lot of work with my clients on that. And I even do still some very traditional graph work, just really, understanding data and traversals within data and what is much easier to do within a graph and much more possible than something like, a gazillion SQL tables and joins and, how slow those can be. So it's really still spanning the space of graphs all the way through Gen AI and kind of the new stuff. As 5 years ago, we were talking a lot about graph data science and things like that. And now, graphs are really having a moment, but that moment that they're having really is in the traditional space, if you think about it. Because when we talk about LLMs and Gen AI and GraphRAG, those are really just traversal things. They're not complicated. But instead of traversing, things like customers or products or things like that, now we're traversing a knowledge graph. So whereas 5 years ago, I think people just started maybe hearing about knowledge graphs, and now today, like if you're involved at all in Gen AI, you've heard of knowledge graphs, you've heard of GraphRAG, and it's really, I think, a very exciting time in graphs because we're getting a lot of new people coming into the space, people with great new ideas who are, have these wonderful applications that they're looking at creating within Gen AI, all using graphs. I think people who are successful in the industry will understand those fundamentals, how to really apply proper traversal techniques and storage techniques, and the ones who are able to figure out how to bring more people on board in an easy way. Graphs for a long time have been seen as niche, but now they're not. Now they are something that everybody really needs to be involved in, take seriously, learn how to use. So what I see, I can't predict the future, but if I could, I would imagine that it would look something like, how do we make graphs easier for more people to use?